Hi guys, welcome back to another video. You're watching That Vegan Couple and we have another viewer question for you today.
Adelina M says, I have a question, but I think that only you two can give me a good answer. Thank you.
Thank you.
How do you guys deal with seeing all the discouraging statistics regarding animal cruelty, the environmental impact of raising animals for meat, and other such topics? I'm usually pretty good about having an attitude of I'm doing all I can and I will focus on the good I can do and not all the bad that's around the world. But I made the mistake of reading a few news articles the other day and I just can't bring myself to an optimistic mindset again. I feel that even though I lead a vegan and zero waste lifestyle, it doesn't even matter because everyone around me not only eats meat, but is involved in other actions that harm animals.
We hear you. We absolutely hear what you're saying, and the first thing we thought of when we were reading this question was, we're not necessarily optimistic either. We're honestly not that optimistic about the state of the world and saving the human species.
It's part of the reason why we decided to have a vasectomy. We didn't want to bring children into this world because we don't have a very optimistic outlook for it. We personally think that World War III could potentially break out in our lifetimes. Certainly one of the motivating factors might be over water, the scarcity of water, because of course we all know we need water to live, and there's very precious little drinking water left on the face of the earth.
Yeah, I mean, just, be realistic. If we look at countries like India and China, there's roughly 2.5 billion people between two countries. And a lot of those people are wanting to live like the West. They're coming up to the middle class or upper class and, they're wanting to eat American kind of diet, the sad diet of animal foods and fast foods. They're wanting to drive cars and live a Western kind of lifestyle, which is mind-blowing because they are huge populations. And, the Western world can only get away with the way we have been living thus far because we're relatively smaller populations. If the entire world wanted to live like the West, I don't know, how many planets do we need?
Several. And we only have one.
It's not possible. It's absolutely not possible. And we've travelled. We've never been to China, but we have travelled to India 3 times. And it's incredible to see the difference in their desires and their wants. Definitely becoming more like the West.
A lot more fried chicken shops on every street corner when we were last in India than they were previously.
Exactly, that was really scary. It's supposed to be a vegetarian country, which still, they're still having a hell of a lot of dairy, which is not good.
On the upside, a very prominent vegan activist, Dr. Michael Greger from nutritionfacts.org, has a great video called Uprooting the Leading Causes of Death, and India's Bollywood, the equivalent of Hollywood over there, their biggest star, Amir Khan, he actually watched that video on YouTube from Dr. Greger and went vegan as a result. And he was interviewed by the Indian media about his vegan lifestyle choice, and he was extremely positive, and the media was just sort of all over it. And he's got such a huge following that the potential influence that he has to turn other Indians vegan is enormous.
If we were to focus on, what we're doing is pointless because look at all these people in India, we can't have an impact on them, we can't reach them, we'd sort of fall apart. But we don't have to worry about people in India. There's an Indian advocate working in that field. We can't save everyone and be everything to everyone. We can only do what we can do, reaching the small group of people that we can reach. But if we were to think about it's too overwhelming, India's this and China's this, we'd fall apart. We wouldn't do anything. It kind of paralyzes you. This enormity can paralyze you.
We're very active and passionate, and yet we're pessimistic, if we're to be honest, most of the time. But just as we made that other video about it's okay to be angry as a vegan activist, in our opinion it's also okay to not be all that optimistic about the future of the human species.
Of course, you don't want to be pessimistic all the time. You do want to have little glimpses of optimism because otherwise it's just not healthy to feel so low. But realistically, there's not a whole lot to be optimistic about, and that's okay. That's just what is. You can't force something else. You can't force yourself to feel another way, I think. So
as it turns out, the world might actually go vegan not by choice, but through other factors. For example, one study shows that by the year 2048, in a mere 33 years from now, there will be no life left in the ocean. what that means for the human species is essentially the end of life as we know it on this planet. So, and that's due to fishing. And of course that fish is, yes, eaten by humans, but it's also fed to factory farmed land animals that are then fattened for human consumption. So, and the other factor is once plant meat becomes cheaper to the consumer than animal products, then that will be a driving force behind the world going vegan.
Now, whether that happens before 2048 and we self-destruct or not, who knows? You know, time will tell. These are very interesting times, and there are reasons to be optimistic, and yes, there are a lot of reasons not to be. It's a balancing act at the moment.
One coping mechanism we can use as animal activists is to actually visit animal farm sanctuaries and spend time connecting and bonding with the animals that have been rescued and whose lives have been saved. Because that can, you know, reinvigorate us and inspire us and motivate us to continue with our advocacy.
So basically, you know the truth, you know what's behind all the main problems in the world, so you've got a choice. You're either part of the problem or the solution. You're going to choose the solution, I know that. And
but
therefore,
they're your only two choices.
That's
is the
it.
Point.
This is the only game in town. It doesn't matter if you're optimistic or pessimistic. It's the only game that you've got to keep playing.
And all that matters is which side you choose to play on.
So yes, this could be a sinking ship. It probably is. But at least it's not sinking in our names, in your name, if you make the right decision.
In our opinion, it's not so much about can we save our species, because in all likelihood we probably can't. It's actually more about limiting the collateral damage of our self-destruction. Our favourite quote from Mahatma Gandhi is very poignant here. Whatever you do in life will be insignificant, but it's very important that you do it anyway. Why is that so?
Because it's important to the animals that you aren't eating. It's important to the people who are starving to death because the grain is being taken away from them and given to the animals. They could have a chance of having a next meal. It's important to the beings that will benefit from you eating vegan and living a vegan lifestyle. That's why we make a difference. That's why we keep going. That's why we choose the right side to be on. As activists, we need to pick each other up. We need to lift each other and motivate and inspire each other. And this is exactly what the YouTuber, The Vegan Activist, is doing on his channel. We're going to leave you with a clip from one of his latest videos that really moved us, and it was an absolute honor to be featured in his video. And we really encourage people to subscribe to his channel. Please go over and have a look at his work.
Remember, fellow vegan activists, in the words of Philip Wallen, if not you, then who? And if not now, then when? We are the ones we've been waiting for.
If you help just one person a week to go vegan starting today, then in a year you would help save over 11 million gallons of water, 450,000 pounds of grain, 300,000 square feet of forested land, 200,000 pounds of CO2, and 10,000 animals' lives. It's not an impossible goal. Many activists have helped hundreds, even thousands of people to make the connection. And don't forget that those thousands have the power to help thousands more. But we can't just be passive vegans. We need to be activists. We need more people to devote their lives to this. Use their unique skills, ideas and experiences to help others around them to wake up. We have to speak up for the animals, for the planet that's dying. Because if we don't, who will?